the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Where's that? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and second for approval of minutes on February 9th, 2026. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Now we get to Ms. Atkins.
All right, so you guys already have them. So first, I just need you to approve the claims for this docket.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims.
We have a motion for the claims. All in favor? Have a
I'll
second?
second.
I'm sorry.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye.
All right, next is the outstanding check approval. This is from 2 years ago, just the outstanding checks in total of $266.63. You guys should have a print off of what is outstanding, so we'll just go back into the funds that they came from.
I'll make a motion to have the council president sign the outstanding checks.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second on the outstanding checks in the amount of $266.63. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye.
All right, and then the last thing is a requisition certificate. It's request number 1. This is for JPR in reference to work they've been doing with the bond in the amount of $19,950. This is the way we need to do it for Regions Bank on this bond. So every time we have either a pay application or something through JPR, we'll do something like this. So I just need that approved so I can write that or give that check to Regions tomorrow to submit that check to JPR.
Entertain a motion.
Are they gonna be numbered or anything, or is it just?
This is request number 1. It's at the top.
Yep, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little different, and then the pay applications, it won't be called pay applications, that will be just with the contractor, how we've done in the past with CCMG and things like that. So if there's anything different, I'll keep track of those, so if you look at the one for the pay applications, request number 2 to them, so.
Okay.
Then it'll just be under that project number then.
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for number 1 for the requisition certificate for JPR.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second for the JPR invoice in the amount of $19,950. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Okay, that's all I have.
Mr. Wagner.
So, Ms. Atkins has put a lot of work into the wage ordinance, salary ordinance. And I think we said we thought there might need to be some more amendments, and it turns out we found another one. The longevity pay benefit that you offer needs to be added to that ordinance. We have some proposed language that kind of explains it a little bit better. It's pretty sparse in its current form in the employee handbook. And so essentially what we're going to do is we're going to give that to you for the next meeting. Essentially what I would like you to do is approve the regular, basically our issue is the longevity pay comes out this next pay period. And as long as you just, I think, tell us to move forward with it, we can approve the ordinance and settle that once and for all. Like basically at a subsequent meeting is what I'm getting at. So, but I think in order for Ms. Atkins to be able to do what she needs to do, I think I would ask you to just make a separate motion to do that today, to say, go ahead and make that payment, and then we'll include it in the wage ordinance, update that later on in March, and then have it every year in there the same way. Now, there have been some issues that have come up just in the last few months where we've had employees essentially changing departments, and that was essentially the language that we did add into the draft ordinance that we'll give you hopefully later on tonight. And basically, it just says that inter-department transfers don't reset the longevity. And it also clarifies that if you earn longevity from one type, then you keep getting paid that longevity as that type as time goes on. And the issues were if you had someone, just to back it up, there's two categories basically, your civilian and your police. And we have had 2 people, I think total, who have moved between those two, both in different directions, and doesn't appear to have been calculated. I don't want to say correctly, because I have a feeling these decisions were made, frankly, so long ago, literally 30 years in one of these cases. There was probably a discussion of rationale. We haven't been able to piece that together. We went back looking through old minutes and things like that. I think some of it predated Ms. Engelmeyer, frankly. So what we did, though, was try to make it consistent in the application. So essentially, you guys are establishing a policy that says if you move from one department to another, it's not like you come in as a new employee. You still get that old longevity, and it should be paid at the rate at which you earned it, doing one type of job or the other, and not the one that you're actually doing right at that moment, if that makes sense. So for now, I guess what I would ask you to do is just approve the longevity pay for 2026. And then, like I said, we'll get that revised ordinance to you for consideration in the March meetings.
And that's what we're voting on right now. It's just the longevity.
I did drop that,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve, 2026's longevity
Yeah.
in the current form for the next pay period.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of the longevity pay for 2026. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 And then one of those outstanding issues is basically Chief Kyle and the longevity pay that he did not receive for actually quite some time. And again, this was something that Ms. Atkins and Mr. Frayne and I tried to dig into, try to find some explanation for why, and I guess just public, the people present. The issue was he worked for the fire department for a number of years and then was hired on to the police department. And when he was hired on to the police department, he didn't receive any longevity credit for the years he worked on the fire department. So if it is your desire to rectify that, we could basically do that by essentially making just a lump sum payment to catch that up. There does not appear to have been a policy or an explanation for why, if you were jumping from the civilian side to the police side, those years of longevity weren't included anymore. I have literally no explanation for it. To be fair, if we've had another instance with Mr. Frayne where it's happened going the other way, just not as egregious in terms of how long it's gone on for. But in that case, it was an issue of not applying the right rate rather than not giving them credit for those years. So there is an inconsistency, and that is more recent, basically, in front of at least some of the members of this council would have been present for that. So, essentially what I'm asking you to do is approve an amount that we can offer to Chief Frayne or Chief Kyle to get this resolved, and then at some point we're going to come back to you with a calculation for Mr. Frayne to essentially apply the policy correctly to his longevity pay. Because the issue for Mr. Frayne has been, for some reason, all his police department years have been counted as civilian, which is a different rate. And again, I don't have an explanation for why it was done that way. I'm not sure it makes much sense. But, you know, if we're going to be consistent, we need to rectify both of these. But the only one I'm asking to deal with tonight is Chief Kyle's. There were some different numbers that were floating around. I think I have some understanding of where part of the discrepancy came from between, I think Mr. Miller had a calculation, I had one. I did have my staff, who's my dedicated Excel wizard, come up with her amount. The program, admittedly, it has some difficulty because at one point it switched from being just a fixed amount to a percentage basis and then back to a fixed amount. So it's kind of a messy calculation, but I think that our numbers were approximately correct. So yeah, so that's the explanation of what we're asking you to approve tonight.
What's that dollar amount again?
I will have to pull that up.
Are we gonna vote on that tonight to approve that, or are you gonna bring it for the next meeting?
If you guys are ready, you know, I've done as much of a calculation as I can do. I think I readily admit you that math is not my strong point, so if someone thinks they have
Have you
a more
conferred
accurate
with
number.
Chief Kyle? Is he aware of the amount, and is he agreed to the amount?
We've talked about it, and I think I told him what my number was, and he thinks,
That's a fair number.
it seems like something he would agree to. Now, he's got the right to say yes or no based on the release that I'm gonna put in front of him, because I think we need some sort of agreement that says, look, this settles the matter once and for all, we're done, if we do this. But for now, I do think he's in agreement with that figure.
Megan, do you have a spot that you're gonna pull this?
That's what, the next part, I'll have to probably play around with it a little bit and see, so. It will have to run through payroll, it will be subject to taxes, like we already talked about before, so it will be subject to tax for him and for us, that we'll have to both pay.
Does the police longevity normally come out of their budget? Police budget, or does that come out of like a general fund?
It comes out of the general fund because they're paid out of the general fund,
Okay.
yeah.
And Mr. Franz has been corrected now for his future, right?
As of just a few minutes ago, yes, that will be corrected going future, which is the numbers that I emailed you this weekend, so.
But essentially, what you're approving is kind of that, I don't know what the right term would be, kind of a true-up payment essentially, to correct effectively the mistake. I am looking for that figure, and my concern is that Mr. Frayne wanted us to amend the agenda to get somebody out of the meeting a little faster because they have a commitment at 5. So if you guys want to just table this matter, we can come back.
Yep.
Keith, you want to explain what you're asking them to do?
So we have representatives from Warren Marshall County have a presentation for the council. So I'd like you to amend the agenda to allow public comments and Warren Marshall County gentlemen to make their presentation. And then we'll come back to new and old business.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and second to amend the agenda to speak to Mr. Nine. Who's Sean?
Public
Sean?
comment.
Yes,
Okay, both of you?
yes.
Step
Sean
forward.
Peterson and Jason Nine is here as well. We're both on the board of Wood Marshall County, and I serve as vice president. And basically, the board thought it was a good idea to come and talk to the various councils to give an update on what Marshall County is doing and just kind of give input on that process. I was told to talk as long as it takes Tony to do math, so I think to get to the right number. So I may have to draw it on here, but I have a commitment, so we'll keep it moving. As you'll see in the handouts, this one talks briefly about what the organization is. As you may recall, this was a kind of a reboot of the Crossroads initiative, and the intent was to really create a more inclusive board with more town participations and municipality participations across the county. What we really do is our vision is kind of how do we bring the various county entity problems together and solve them collectively, because oftentimes we're all struggling with the same issues, and so we're trying to figure out and bring those visions aligned to move various projects and initiatives forward. So it's collectively to champion these initiatives together. And so the types of things that we work on is aligning community economic development plans, initiatives to bring people together, help facilitate if we need like support for local projects, just like one Marshall County helped collect some of the support letters for the Ready Initiative and other things that are going on. Help secure funding, kind of unite through communication efforts. And we have 5 major committees that the board and the other members can participate as well. And if you want to participate in these, let us know. These are open committees. One is quality of life, one is quality of place, the housing infrastructure committee, business growth and innovation, and then education and workforce. You'll see here a list of the 28 different board members on there. I was going to just let Jason talk a second about why he chose and Southwire chose to participate on this.
Sure.
Yeah.
So when the board was being put together, they have a representative on the board. So I don't know if I got the short straw or how I got that, but I was voluntold that this would be a good thing. So it's really been interesting. I mean, I've learned a lot. If you went back, when would you start? 2-3 years ago, really didn't understand what it was and how it could benefit, and luckily there was some community leaders that had a vision and they saw it through, and I guess over the last couple of years really have seen, wow, this is a neat organization, all those things, the plan, coordinate, support, empower, that it was, you didn't realize maybe you needed that till you get started down it, and it's like the further we get into it, at least for me, the more I've realized, this was probably something that was needed, and but anyway, so that's how I'm on the board.
And Keith Frames on the board as a town representative, and then Greg Hildebrand as well. So if anybody else wants to chime in, at this time.
So I was kind of in the same place that Jason was in, and admittedly, if you ask anybody, we had a bit of a rocky road when we first started. When I first joined the board, the organization has made a 180-degree turn, and what I take from it, and I tell people, is it took me a little bit, but the big thing is a healthier Plymouth makes for a healthier Bremen. A healthier Bremen makes for a healthier Bourbon. The healthier that every one of our communities are, it helps us in Bremen as well, and it's a win-win. I'm glad to be part of it, and like Jason said, I've learned so much in the couple of years that I've been on the board.
The other piece I'll say is that I've recognized is, right, when Marshall County, we didn't have this type, there's different entities, but we didn't have this. I mean, we have the county commissioners and stuff that pull things together, but we didn't have this. But when you look at St. Joe and Elkhart County, at times they were a bit more organized, I think, around, especially when you talk about getting grants and the ready money and that kind of stuff. They seem to be, they had some pieces, I think, where they maybe pulled together a little better, and it seems like in the last couple of years as I've sat on the board and really learned more than participated, that Marshall County, especially, we're not as big, we need to be maybe extra together if we're going to go, play in the same pool as the bigger counties north of us. So again, I think that's been an eye-opening thing to me is, hey, we better have our ducks completely in a row so that we make sure we get our share all the time.
I'll say there's two other things. One, when you have a planning group like this, it really helps the community attract funding from either the regional entities, the regional partnership, RDA, or even the endowment, the Lilly Endowment and others through the Community Foundation, they look to this type of public-private, organization structure to really help give guidance to make sure that things we're doing align those interests collectively. And so we've been successful, and even a member of the regional partnership is on the board. And of course, the Community Foundation is on the board as well. So in the last year and a half or so, we've kind of embarked on a strategic planning process, which was committee-led. So each of the committees kind of led a process with various stakeholders to develop a strategic plan coming forward. As part of the Housing Infrastructure Committee, it was a process that resulted in many different meetings, across the county, including in partnership with MCDC on their club for their growth meetings quarterly to really decipher what are the needs of each of the communities, what can we collectively advocate for. And so you'll see in your packet kind of each of the strategies that kind of came out of those, primary, and we have a larger document, I'm sure we can give you copies too, on how that goes forward. But obviously housing is across the county is a big issue, making sure we have the utility infrastructure that you guys we've experienced here in Bremen. You want to upgrade your plant, it costs a lot of money. How do you get more money in the system, in the state, to help us keep those costs low? Transportation, obviously infrastructure is a big issue in the county as well. The quality of life, quality of place, they kind of combine many spaces. Arts and culture, this is one of the things that the Lilly Endowment has a special allocation for through the regions. So we're at the committee working together to try to see how all of our towns can participate in that. Some public space components and community wellness. There's a rural grant that's out there that that we're working with as a committee and the hospital systems together on how to bring more funding so we can have more health services and not lose what we have in these rural communities throughout that. Obviously the business growth, this part's led primarily by MCDC and that committee, but industry expansion capabilities, workforce readiness, entrepreneurship and small business. And then as far as the ecosystem, really in many ways is creating awareness, making sure that if there's an issue that's affecting one of our towns, we may have dealt with that issue in a different town, collaborating, making sure we could deal with that and promoting the same things together. So as far as a budget, we're not here to ask for money. We've gotten some private foundation, things to move that forward. We wanted to just provide an update that there are some communities that are participating, but our revenues and staffing is relatively light to do this work because we're a committee-led, driven organization, and we've got to get some grants through the Lilly Endowment and the Community Foundation to help support the activities here. So we are going to be hiring a coordinator for some of these efforts to keep, and we've engaged in Focus. It's a fellowship group out of South Bend that helps us run the committees. So they help schedule it, take the notes, do the different activities, going through that process. So that's kind of that component. And again, I talked about some of the
I'll just say on those committees, the neat part about the committees as we formed them, they didn't start from nothing, because I wasn't sure how we were going to do that when we got started. I thought, wow, that's a lot of volunteer. But a lot of the committees started with something that Marshall County already had, like the education, the Lifelong Learning Network was kind of the foundation, and then folks joined it, right? I know Greg, part of MCEDC, on the workforce development and that kind of stuff. They're in the middle of that. I'm trying to think. But different.
Yeah, the CDC has started from housing, an organization with Lilly Endowment funds to help bring some of the housing things to fruition.
Right. So a lot of the organizations that were already out there doing something are really the ones that are sitting on and leading and major portion of these committees. They're just they're to go. Oh, Heartland Art on the arts, the quality of life, quality of place. The Heartland Arts is kind of was the core, and then they built onto that. So.
Yeah, we don't want to duplicate. We just want to make sure we have the expertise at the table and people had input. So if anyone wants to participate in any of those committees, send us an email, send Keith an email. We can get you connected in, and happy to have more participation because again, this is a collaborative effort, and people just sit in to listen sometimes.
And we are hiring our first and only hired person, and that is through this In Focus group that's a Notre Dame run. Fellowship program, and they'll to actually help us hire and then actually help us manage that. But the title is Communications and Community Coordinator. So admittedly, the communications, we've been putting this thing together. Once we get a person that's full-time communicator, I think that will really help, push things out better than we even have now. I mean, we rely kind of on the communities to kind of absorb some of it, but we really can do a better job at that. So once we get a full-time person, I think you'll see more stuff that's coming out just because they're gonna have the ability to do that.
Great. Are you done with your math yet?
No, we found it, yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
So with the initiative of Restore the Standpipe, is that anything that you guys could help with, help guide that, or help find funding for that as well?
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, I think that's one of the things that is going to be applying is kind of well, there's two things that the endowment has. One is a blight revitalization project, and the other is an art kind of and component. So it's possibly something we could look at and have the art committee, submitted.
I mean, yeah, we go to our website and it pops up for Save the Standpipe and, donations. And if you guys could help with it, it may be a good partnership there.
Who's the point person on that?
Who is taking point on that?
So we actually had JPR put together the presentation, and so I would say JPR is, but they could call here and we could,
Yeah.
Okay.
Ken,
Okay. Well, let's send an email to
Daniel.
See. Yep. Yeah, just we'll send an email, to see where we can see if we can get
Thank
tied
you.
in. Those types of projects, they can cover about 20%. That's kind of the max, but still that's 20%. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
not a bad, point if we can get it part of it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, and thank you for accommodating the schedule.
Thank you. No problem.
Basically, we'll just resume with my time. I don't think we need a motion for that. The longevity pay, though, I don't think I had you vote on that. So I would like to get you to vote for that before my time is done. Basically, just approving essentially the longevity pay by Ms. Atkins this week.
No, we did vote on it.
Well, you made a motion, but then we got distracted.
Actually vote on it.
Oh.
You made a motion and then, yeah.
What was that? Did you find the number then?
Well,
No,
this is
this is-
separate. We
So
need to
this
vote.
is-
Yeah, we need to
this is
vote.
Chief Kyle, so we need to vote on, so Brian was the motion, I'm not sure who was the second on it, or if there was a second.
Alex, yeah, so this is the motion
Yeah.
for 2026 longevity,
Just make
Okay.
fixing
longevity.
it
Yep.
and getting it
So-
going forward, that kind of stuff.
So we have a motion and a second on the longevity for 2026 to proceed.
We just need to vote.
All in favor? Yeah.
Aye.
I vote aye.
And then on Chief Kyle, the number that had been sent a couple weeks ago when we first circulated it, the total, and granted, for anybody listening this literally dates back to 1989. But the total amount, as my staff calculated, it was $30,491. So 30491.00. And again, just to reiterate, that was 7 years of longevity pay that did not get paid for approximately 30 years, and that's how you get to $30,000. So,
I'll take a motion to approve the pay for Brad Kyle,
Close it out. Fine.
unless there's any discussion.
No, I'm good.
Good with that number? You good with that number?
I'll make a motion to pay Brad Kyle the longevity pay that he was due of $30,491.00.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to update the pay for Brad Kyle for $30,491. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye.
that is all. Well, actually, Ms. Atkins believes she has a figure for Mr. Frayne that is correct. Let's do this at the next meeting.
Okay.
So we'll bring that up at the next meeting, like we said. So, all right.
While we're on the term of catching up. It's been brought to my attention that Ms. Atkins has not received the proper pay dating back to when she was sworn in. She was sworn in on 12/30 and was receiving not clerk's pay at that time. So I asked her to confer downstate, and they've told her that she has to be paid the date that she was sworn in, and she wasn't being paid that amount. Have you worked up a number yet?
No, I mean, I was just paid for 1 week at hourly wage, and I should have been paid both those full weeks at clerk treasurer.
So it's not gonna amount to much, but if we're gonna clear all this stuff up from the past, we need to get everything out on the table, get it done, and let's move on. So,
But what we'll do is we'll put an actual dollar
Right.
figure in front of you.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know what you're.
correct.
So-
And I've asked for clarification again, because when they were here last week, I asked them about it, and there was some confusion, even with them, amongst talking with them, and so they went back. She actually emailed me earlier late last week, I emailed her back, just making sure, so. I don't wanna come to that without it being definitely triple checked of how it should be, so.
Okay. Anything else, Tony?
No, that's it for me.
All right, new business. Old business. Public comments. Mr. Frame.
I have nothing, you have my report.
New chief.
Our garage doors that we talked about last meeting have been installed. I do appreciate that.
They look good.
And Assistant Chief Schneibel has started his role in that position today.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Since we're on the topic of the wage ordinance, the summer pool manager and assistant manager have always been a salary position. Why it was done that way, I assume has something to do with budgeting and having a solid number. I'm still working to try to figure out a fair hourly rate for that, if the council would prefer to shift them to hourly as well. There's few times when one of them would go over 40 hours, but if one of them is on vacation for a week and the other works 7 days potentially. So we could do salary and just pay an hourly overtime at that point also, or we could just switch straight to hourly. A lot of the positions, or people that I have fill those positions, don't really understand how a salary works, just because they're high school, college age kids. They kind of get confused with that, and they want to know, how much am I making an hour? So it may make sense just to go to an hourly rate like everything else as well. But I'm working on it. I'll probably have something for you at the next meeting after I meet with the park board. But just wanted to let you know, kind of fell backwards into realizing that when I was looking back over the wage ordinance, that we eliminated most of the salary positions, but those still exist. It just wasn't on anybody's radar because it's a seasonal position.
What's the park board's opinion of this subject?
Like I said, I haven't had a chance to discuss it with them because I found it after the last park board meeting when I was starting to do my hiring for this.
Okay.
But I'll take it in front of them and then bring it back to you guys. For approval.
Okay. Anything else? Nate?
Couple things, you have my report. Secondly, just putting it out for the public. I'm looking for 1 or 2 more high schoolers for weed whacking and other grounds maintenance. If anybody knows a young person that's looking for a job, come see me. And then Mr. Wagner, do you know where we were at with the cemetery ordinance update?
Actually, I'm glad, I was starting to think that as soon as you started talking. I do believe that we can do the second and third reading of that ordinance. I want to say was that number 2?
I don't have it.
Yeah, I'll pull it up, but essentially, if you recall, the issue was the cemetery department has imposed or proposed new rules, regulations for how the cemetery operates. And so it had to be published, which it was, in order to have that second reading, because there are, from what I recall, there's not really a monetary fine. It's more of we might confiscate your stuff, ask you to come get it. If you don't come get it, we're going to pitch it for things that were contrary to the rules. Some of the decorations and things like that. Gravel is the one that always comes to mind. So essentially, what we would do is ask you to essentially open a public hearing on the ordinance, ask for public comment on it. If there is any further discussion from any of you, I don't think that there has been, because it's been since January since we had that in front of you. But if there's any further discussion, certainly you can ask questions of Nate. Can still be discussed, could still be amended. You don't have to approve it on second and third readings. So, but it was advertised for that, at least that second reading tonight.
Hey Tony, weren't we waiting on a marked up copy to show the changes?
In red.
I thought we had distributed that already.
I mean, I can hit some of the highlights if you want me to.
Hold on a second, Bill. Essentially, what I would have you do is have the public hearing on it, and you can table it to the next meeting. I don't know if I kept a red line copy of it. What I can do is forward you what Nate gave me. Because essentially what I did was take things from a PDF and put it into a Word format, and that wouldn't generate the kind of red line that you guys are looking for. But Nate's notes essentially capture that.
I think the ordinance number is the same as it was for the salary as well.
You didn't pass that one, so that would just be something different. So it'd be okay.
So
Because I think this 3.
oh, okay.
So that could be
Because there hasn't been
Right.
Yeah, so no, this one is number 3.
Okay.
The cemetery ordinance is number 3. That one just needs to be updated, but frankly, it's going to get a new ordinance number that refers back to the ordinance that it's amending. So it's going to have, we're going to put effectively a cover ordinance on that. She's just showing you what the wage ordinance will look like. It's also worth noting that I think this is going to be our format literally
Yes.
for every year going forward. We're just trying to figure out all the different parts that it's missing, and we're not getting them all at one time, unfortunately. So I have a feeling this won't be the last time that we come in and say it needs to have this in the future. Some additional language that needs to be baked into it. So, but you can tell the length of it, I think, is at least doubled now compared to what it used to be. So
I'll make a motion that we open up the meeting, the public hearing for the cemetery ordinance change for ordinance 03/2026.
One second.
We have a motion to open up for a public hearing. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any questions from anyone? At this time,
I'll make a motion to close the meeting,
I'll
close the
second
public
it.
hearing.
Second.
we have a motion and a second to close public meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the cemetery ordinance on reading number 2 of 03-2026.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the cemetery reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oop, you have a question?
I said aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have,
Let's try.
and I vote aye. I have one question, Nate. What is the minimum age requirement to work up there?
I've had a 15-year-old, as they weren't able to drive anything.
15, you said?
I believe so.
It's 16.
Is it?
16?
If you're under 16, you can't operate anything other than maybe a broom.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Henry?
I have nothing.
Austin? Matt?
I'll make a motion to accept department head reports.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve department head reports. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Dan?
All right, guys, thanks. First up, for the wastewater plant and interceptor sewer project, I received pay application number 1 from Thieneman Construction in the amount of $208,682.62. This pay app includes the pay items associated with them obtaining their performance and payment bonds and up-to-date supervision time for coordinating material ordering, shop drawings, RFIs, things like that. They have really been throwing down on that. I've gotten like 40 shop drawings and 30 RFIs from them since we started construction. So they are rolling and getting all the prep work done in advance here. So JPR's reviewed all sums and costs and said pay application, and we recommend town council approval.
Okay. I'll take a motion on pay application number 1 for JPR. For the wastewater plant.
I'll make a motion for pay app number 1 for the wastewater facility sewage plant.
I'll second that.
We have a motion for pay application number 1 for the wastewater plant. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Alrighty. Then just note.
Hold on a second.
Yes.
The request is request number 2. Does that
Correct.
matter?
No, it doesn't. That's just what I have to submit to the bank is request number 2.
Okay.
So, it's fine.
Thank
Yep,
you.
Thank you.
Also, this is just updating you guys. I'm planning on assembling change order number 1 and presenting that at the next meeting on March 9th. And then I listed off a list of items that are going to be included on this change order. I suspect this change order will be a pretty good deduct, largely because the largest item on its elimination of the mechanical screen and washer compactor from Thieneman Scope, since the town purchased that equipment outright and is providing it to them for installation. We'll have an additive change for the inclusion of a new manual screen at the Headworks building. We'll have the inclusion of concrete testing to be provided by the contractor instead of the owner. We're eliminating a stretch of sanitary sewer connecting the sludge dewatering bed line over to the Headworks building that was deemed not necessary. We would like to see motorized openers on the overhead doors at the storage building. We're slightly shifting the location of the proposed influent pump station to the southeast to allow for some adequate space for the shoring so that we don't undermine the structural stability of the Headworks building. And then there is some storm sewer piping on sheet C413 that's incorrectly labeled, but that's going down in size. So all in all, this should be a net deduct to the contract. I expect to have that documentation to you guys for approval at the next meeting. Other items on the water system PIR, I understand that Josh Wyman reviewed the scope of the system improvements and requested some additional information from the town. I think you guys are working on getting that to him. And then with the 2026 Community Crossings Matching Grant Project, it sounds like INDOT reached out to Austin and indicated that additional grant money may be available on a first-come, first-served basis. So Mike advertised the project on the 13th and 20th of February for a February 27th bid opening at a special meeting to increase our chances at getting these funds for this. So other than that, that about covers it for me.
Okay. Thank you. Town council member comments?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Nothing for me.
Nothing for me. Take motion for adjournment.
I'll make
that motion.
Oh, good.
We have a motion and second for adjournment. All in favor, say aye. Aye.